Corruptio optimi, pessima est. The corruption of the best is the worst. The Light Kingdom Party, Mr. Caduceus and AXJ Global News Network. We want to talk with you about the degree of corruption we currently witness here in this nation. In the recent Kavanaugh hearings, we have seen a sort of conduct that reflected very much the presidential election of 2016, and we want to talk about this in truthfulness and on a foundation of a lawful perspective. Royal, noble, honorable brothers and sisters from around the world, what we have seen here in this nation is people taking the chance, taking it upon themselves to be carried out by police, to be arrested, to be placed in custody for making their voices heard, for communicating to this world, to the people and the politicians that should work on behalf and not against the people, that they are in disagreement with such nomination. And we can really associate with that, and we will talk about this right now. In a legal point of view, a single document, if oppressed, if eliminated, if destroyed, if concealed, may decide between innocence and guilt of somebody who is accused of something. In fact, in any court of law in which evidence, as we witnessed in the past, is eliminated and destroyed, such obstruction of justice is to not only utmost concern, but of criminal nature. And when we observe the material fact that 100,000 documents have been concealed, have been made not available to the Senate for an objective decision, a just decision to be made, and to withhold it, in addition to that, from the people that are willing to be arrested, placed in custody, their freedom taken for their opinion and voices heard, then we see, in fact, injustice to the highest degree prospering. And such injustice is always founded on corruption. There's always somebody who's making a benefit, who has a gain from such criminal conduct. Now to the proceedings itself. Mr. Chuck Grassley, it appeared to us as a Gestapo act when you have been pushing the entire time to move ahead with the proceedings, even though there has been a clear foundation, an unlawful foundation, that would have required you, in fact, not only to listen to the opposition, but to make their motions heard and to walk with them on a path that the law describes. And in fact, in this country, we have reached a position in which one party, ruled by one man, is in truth deciding over everything, and nothing else matters. No one else has a voice, and that is dictatorial leadership. That is demagoguery, and that is fascism. And the way these proceedings have been pushed appeared very clearly, like in a Hitler regime, proceedings to be pushed in one way, regardless of what the opposition and the people think about such decision made. Additionally, as a man, Senator Harris made a very clear point in the beginning of the proceedings, and throughout the proceedings, very little respect has been displayed to her. In fact, you have spoken over her when she communicated essential points that describe not only the law, but that also describe conduct that led to dialogue with attorneys from the Trump camp. The defense attorney from Donald Trump very obviously had a conversation about Robert Mueller and his investigations with Judge Kavanaugh. And she has made such point clear. And in the face of Mr. Kavanaugh, we could read the answer. We did not need to hear it. Mr. Kavanaugh, I need to address this in true honesty. You most certainly are a good family man. You might be a great father. But in this case, you have acted on a foundation that is disgraceful to your position. And the reason why is the American people have been willing to be placed in custody for a single moment to make their voices heard, to sacrifice their freedom. When you have seen and witnessed that in fact the law is breached and you knew and should have known that a single document decides between innocence and guilt, and that when 100,000 documents are missing, that no law would authorize to continue procedural proceedings on a foundation we saw unfolding. In fact, you as a judge should have stood up and communicated to all senators, and not only Senator Chuck Grassley, that this is not the time, this is not the moment, and this is not the foundation on which you can be nominated, as you are the law, as you will be representing the United States of America and its laws. And when in your nomination the laws are breached, and when in the nominations dictatorial events take place that disregard any other opinion because your chair is already reserved for you, then we don't have democracy. We have dictatorial environments that most certainly will not only here in this country but internationally cause a lot of turmoil. If you as man of honor witness such conduct, if you are part of such proceedings, you disqualify yourself in the process, because a man of the law for personal benefit can never turn a blind eye to the law. And you know that language. As you know, they knew and should have known. And, you know, Mr. Chuck Grassley, Honorable Senator, you knew and should have known the background of Donald Trump. You knew and should have known the illegal campaign financing, the Russian interference, and in fact, the record will establish and prove that the entire election has been a fraud and that our president is not of legitimate nature. And whatever you're doing currently, you're acting on a foundation of illegality that is, as we allege, equal to what has happened in the 2016 election. And no man with a consciousness, no man with nobility and honor and integrity and ethical conduct in his heart and mind can stand for that, accept that, and rather like the American people that went to jail on such day when that hearing was progressing, because you pushed it, Mr. Grassel, to progress. Such man displayed the America that we need to return to, and that requires the Light Kingdom Party, a third party. And you may control right now the flow of contributions. You may control currently our rise, but history will confirm us, and we will succeed. Our light will illuminate the United States of America and the world.